Right. So this is the walkthrough of the Minnesota during the Great Depression image analysis slideshow. You're going to find this popped up on the second slide, I expect, after the video is recorded. Here's how to walk yourself through this activity. The first slide is a question about a graph. This is a little bit of a chart and map analysis for you. What was the price per bushel of wheat in 1919? And a bushel is a measurement system for how to measure grains. It's typically measured by like a basket. It's 4 packs or like 8 gallons dry. It is kind of fun, but we don't really use it that much. It's like 35 liters now, so 35 of my water bottles would be a bushel of grain. But what is the price per bushel of wheat in 1919? So then I'm going to find what one wheat is, then I'm going to find where 1919 is, and then I'll go up the y-axis to figure that out. Question number 2, what was the price per bushel of wheat in 1932? 1932 is about 3 years after, well, it's 3 years after the stock market crash of 29. And so then I'd find again on the x-axis where 1932 is, and then I'd find what the y-axis tells me the price is. The next question says, what commodity had the largest difference in price? What was that difference? So there are 2 questions appearing here. So what's the largest difference in price? In order to find that, I'm telling you here, you find the highest peak of each item. So like here's the peak of this blue line, which is corn. And then I'd find the lowest part, probably in 1932. Kind of go over that. Looks like it might be around, let's see, I'll move to my pen, straight as I can. That's as straight as I can, about 40 cents or so, maybe 35. And then I can go over here, and that's not very straight, but it'd be about 120. So maybe 120 dot, and then minus the lowest one, I think might be like 35 cents. So then I can go off and do 120 minus 35. That will give me 85 cents. That's quite a great handwriting here, but that shows you how to do it for the corn. So I know my corn value would be 0.85. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the bottom of the 8. There we go. Then I'll do the same thing for wheat and then for hogs, and I'll figure out which one of these numbers is the biggest. That will tell me which had the biggest drop. Now let's go to the next one. This guy's saying, who will help me get a job? I do not want charity. So then my question here is like, why does he not want charity? What's the deal? What does he really want? And what would a job give him that charity wouldn't? So if I give him $20, why is he mad? Why would he want something that's not just a one-time $20? I believe her name is Dorothy, and this is Dorothy. You'll find more information here in this link if you are done at the very end. However, we're going to look through and we're going to see what emotions we can see in her face. So as I'm looking through, I might try to find out what type of emotions I see when I look at her, how she's feeling. And her age, she's 32 in this picture. When you're done with this answer, you can go off and you can learn more about this series of pictures. The Great Depression was also a time called the Dust Bowl. Why? So you're going to look at this picture. This picture does not come from Minnesota. This comes from Oklahoma. Why would they call this the Dust Bowl? Many Minnesotans gave up, and Minnesotans from all over. A large part of this was the state of Oklahoma. They were called Okies when they were leaving. Many Minnesotans and people from other states gave up and left California carrying all their belongings. How did they travel? So I would describe it by looking at this picture. Once they got to California, they found jobs. What were some of those jobs? This is no actionable item. Just a nice quote from the guy in this picture. And the photographer for these last one, two, three, four, five images all were the same photographer. In 1927, I made $7,000 in cotton. 1928, I broke even. 1929, went in the hole. 1930, went in still deeper. 1932, hit the road. So he had a lot of money in 1927, and we can do $1927 to US dollars today. And I'm just using a calculator on my other screen to see what the inflation tells me this would be. So if he had $7,000 in 1927, that would be $125,000 in 2024. So he was doing quite well in 1927. And then we can see that from 1927 to 32, that's 5 years, he was completely broke. And not only that, in the 3 years, he went in deeper. So he was really in debt. Into this description about camp life, describe what it was like, provide 5 examples. So for this one, you must use headphones. And as you do that, press this button, you press play, and you'll hear somebody describe what their experience in the government camp was like. When they were in California, how did they live? Describe the smells that you may smell if you went there. And yes, I understand the easy one is to talk about how it would smell like body excretions. We don't need to worry about it. We get it. It would probably smell like human waste. I get it. We talked about night waste last year. This assignment, we don't need to focus solely on night waste. What else would it smell like when you have a bunch of people living together like this? Listen to the poem about life in a government camp. What's the conflict that is solved by this one? So again, when you click this button, then it's going to pop up for your speech right there. You'll be able to hear it, and you must use headphones. Now, this is a bonus question for you. This bonus question is called Cross Questions and Silly Answers. This is a game that was super popular in the 1930s. It's a party game. You do it when you've got all your friends together. You're going to hear somebody play the game, and then I'd like you to type in this box as to what you think the game was played as and how you believe you would play this game. That's how to do the Minnesota during the Great Depression image analysis assignment.